Good evening. Welcome. It's been way too long. What is good? Defenders Nation. Apparently, I'm starting this one. We didn't talk about that, I don't think, but that's okay. It's time for one more sleep. It's the night before a match, and it's not just any match, and we're going to talk all about it tonight. It's been a nice week and a half or so off for myself and my podcast partner. Welcome back to Defenders of the Bank, everybody. Western Conference semifinal. You know my voice. It's the Scarf, J.R. Liebert, and we are getting set. Maybe a little rain overnight. You know, all it's going to do is make the grass even greener at beautiful BMO Stadium. And Philly, this is one Christian Philly Philemon over here, by the way. I can't wait to get back to the Cathedral of the Black and Gold, BMO Stadium, to go worship one more time and watch our boys put another notch in our belts over the Seattle Sounders.
Yeah, it's been a really long time, and I finally get to go back to BMO myself. I was looking at this. The last time I was at a game at LAFC was the match before Decision Day. So much time has transpired since then, and obviously so much time has transpired since LAFC's last game. But I've got no conflict, so I'm feeling pretty happy here. I got my Jarrito sleeve on my Topo Chico. I got my Defenders of the Bank coaster that I'm going to utilize so I don't make any seltzer stains on my desk. Things are good. And you mentioned a little bit of rain and some grass. If there's anything we know about here in Southern California, it's grass. And why I say that tongue-in-cheek, and there's, yes, a double meaning behind that, is because we play on grass, unlike the Sounders who like to play on turf. The Sounders, Scarf. Yes, the Sounders, the other team that's been really pissed off at us for the past couple of years because they haven't been able to beat us since 2021. So tomorrow should be a fun game.
Yeah, we have had Seattle Sounders number over the last several seasons, right? Everything from the infamous train whistle game to the last few years in the regular season. Look, every time we play Seattle, though, Philly, I think back to 2019 and them knocking us out of the playoffs in our record-setting season. And the scary part is, or maybe it's the good part, Philly, I don't know, but a lot of those same cast members from that terrible play that we had to watch play out at BMO Stadium are still wearing rave green for Seattle. We've got Raul Ruidiaz and Jordan Morris and Nuhu and so many of these players somehow still there, the traveling Roldan brothers. It has been a consistent lineup for Seattle almost over the last 8 or 9 years or so. But I think, Philly, when we defeat Seattle tomorrow, this could be the beginning of the end for this version of Schmetzer's crew.
Yeah, but this version of Schmetzer's crew is actually pretty darn good, man. I mean, they had a really good run in the Western Conference, finishing fourth. Sure, a 16-9-9 record, but this is a team that could score goals, 51 of them to be exact. But interestingly enough, they have the same amount of wins at home as they do on the road. The only thing that flip-flops is the draws and the losses. Inside out drawers. I made myself laugh. Yeah, 8-2-7 at home, 8-7-2 on the road. But you're right. Brian Schmetzer, cheeky, crafty devil that he is, still has some very talented players. And a former friend of ours from Real Salt Lake is also having a fantastic year playing for the folks up in the Pacific Northwest. We'll mention him when we talk about our players to watch. But I got to tell you, as excited as I am about the game tomorrow, it's still a little perturbing knowing how much time has passed. It's perturbing knowing that there was an international break. Lucky nobody got hurt. We sent a bunch of players. Seattle sent a bunch of players. If you look, Minnesota United sent a bunch of players. The only team that didn't send many players to international break, Scarf, was the Galaxy. 2, and none of them normally feature on the starting lineup anyway. So the fact that Major League Baseball has a shorter season than Major League Soccer blows my freaking mind, man.
It's the worst thing ever. Don Garber, you suck at scheduling things. Let's get rid of Leagues Cup now that your boys got tossed out by Atlanta early on. Really cool idea to send them to the Club World Cup, by the way. Just come out and say we sent them because Messi is on the team. If he did that, I wouldn't be upset at Don Garber at all. I'd be like, all right, cool. You're no longer a wolf in sheep's clothing. You're actually wearing your wolf costume today, Donnie. Thank you, buddy. Look, Philly, this is a club that is incredibly consistent. They also led Major League Soccer with 13 clean sheets. Stephen Fry, turning back the clock at age 38, the ageless one. Oh, wait. Doesn't LAFC have a goalie that's about 38 years old and doing some amazing things between the pipes? So this is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, obviously, Stefan Fry doesn't have the world pedigree that one Hugo Lloris does, but these are two keepers that are aging like fine wine. Only the thing is, one of them is made in France and the other mainly Seattle.
Talk about aging goalkeepers. We really should say thank you to Brad Guzan over at Atlanta United for shutting down Miami. It's unbelievable. I can't believe Miami is not in it. And if there's anybody that's going to be pissed off about the way the format looks, clearly Jordi Alba, because he had some coarse words to say. But Miami winning the first game and then losing the next two. And despite Messi scoring a goal, Brad Guzan looked like a rock star. Put him as the U.S. men's national team keeper. In a couple years, let him start over Matt Turner. But yeah, this is a league clearly where keepers in their late 30s and early 40s thrive. And I know that you wanted so badly to see Gianluigi Buffon, but that ain't going to happen. That being said, it's going to be LAFC versus Seattle. The way they got here, they beat Houston in the first round. Both games were won, hard fought, but they went to penalties. Only one goal, though, scored in regulation between both games. So people can talk about how LAFC didn't exactly play a great first round against the Vancouver Whitecaps, and we didn't. The aggregate is we lost 4-3, but we can't say that Seattle played very well against the Houston Dynamo either. Either way, a couple of weeks of rest. The rust probably is off because both teams have star players that played internationally. So it's going to be a slugfest tomorrow.
Yeah, and look, the bottom line is this. We've played Seattle 22 times. Seattle has beaten us 5. I am not a fan of those type of statistics when it comes to the playoffs because I believe in a one-off format just like this, where it's win or go home. Every team circles the wagons and usually plays their best. But we're talking about a team that has been unsuccessful at beating LAFC 17 of the 22 times that they have played. And yes, you're absolutely right. With both matches going to PKs for Seattle, not convincing wins, but I mean, look, neither win that we had over Vancouver was very convincing. I think both of these first round matchups were a lot of what I like to say all the time, where styles make fights. I believe that is exactly what happened with Houston, although the red cards from Houston, I think it was Carrasquilla and Hector Herrera, just the stupid red cards really handing Seattle both of their victories. So I can't feel too badly for Houston in that regard. But that being said, Philly, we're not here to talk about Houston. Shoot, we're barely here to talk about Seattle. Let's talk about our boys LAFC as well. Philly, you mentioned it. 5 players on international duty. And hopefully everybody saw the banger by Denis Bouanga for Gabon.
Yeah, he had a heck of a goal for Gabon, but, the player that got the most run out of anybody on LAFC was Nathan Ordaz. He played many, many minutes for El Salvador in both games. I like the fact that Denny did not play in the second game against the Central African Republic. Matty Bogusz got himself a start against Scotland, featuring with the Polish national team, but only played 45 minutes, one chance created in a 1-5 loss. Kai Kamara did get some runs, 75 minutes in the first game against Chad, didn't play in the second one. And then Kike Oliveira, you want to talk about hardly getting any minutes? 9 minutes in that 1-1 draw against Brazil, not featuring against Colombia. So Denis Bouanga, clearly the star in terms of scoring goals, but Nathan Ordaz getting the minutes, and he even hit the woodwork on international duty.
Yeah, no, look, they've had a history, El Salvador has, of playing LAFC players significantly. I think Josh Perez and Tomas Romero both getting significant run with El Salvador.
He started in the second game, Tomas Romero. He didn't start the first one.
Yeah, but pretty cool that that those guys are getting a lot of run. By the way, real quick question for everybody out there. Let me take Lafferty's comment down here for a minute. You can see my little comment down here. Did you guys pick up the Vans drop? Did you pick up the Paisa Boys drop? Did you pick up both? Did you pick up neither? For me, I did pick up a new pair of shoes, but that's about it. I didn't get anything from the Paisa Boys drop. Philly, you looking at putting anything of those under your Christmas tree or in your stocking?
Are you kidding me with the potential of us getting our cards charged tomorrow when we go to the Western Conference Finals? No, the shoes are dope. Don't get me wrong. I love Vans. I love the slip-ons. Who has time to tie their shoes in today's day and age? But I have to be a little smart and frugal with my money because there's going to be another God. I didn't even look at how much the potential is for our tickets. It's probably close to 800-900. So I don't know if I want to spend another $80 to $90 on shoes just yet. But yeah, I'm definitely keeping that in the back of my mind.
Yeah, the shoes do look pretty cool. Cool drop there. I don't know about $130 for a belt, Paisa Boys. I don't know that one. So
yeah, I mean, I get my belts. Like I tell you, it's Nordstrom Rack, or Marshalls, or what's the other cheapy store?
Ross?
TJ Maxx. That's the only place I'm getting belts, man. You won't ever see a Gucci belt on me. Then again, you'd never see a Gucci belt on Bill Gates or Warren Buffett either. So just some food for thought.
You won't see a Gucci belt on me either, but that's because it's really hard to see a belt when I wear one right now. But that's okay. We'll move on.
Right,
Philly, are you still milking the whole finger injury here? I still see there's there you go.
It's my Charlotte Hornet colored finger hat thingy. The Panda wrapped it in gray the other day, and I was looking at it, and the only thing I can think of was the Wizard of Oz, the troops that were standing guard the Wicked Witch's castle. That's all I could think of anytime I saw the finger. So I'm like, you need to give me a color that doesn't make me think of the Wizard of Oz. So now all I see is the Charlotte Hornets when I keep up my middle finger.
Did you just call your bandage a finger hat?
Yes, really it's a finger hat. It's a little more appropriate than calling it a finger condom or a finger rubber.
Oh, jeez. Parents, you can explain that to your kids later. Philly, what do you say we get into our players to watch, keys to the match, and our score predictions?
Sure, what the hell? We haven't talked to each other in such a long time. I literally have not seen this man probably since the last time I was at an LAFC game. And we haven't had y'all in the chat for a while either. I'm just kind of having a little fun right now. I've got my Bembel Apfelwein Kirsche, courtesy of Jonathan Reimer. I got my Topo Chico. It's Friday, baby. Feeling fiesta-like, frothy-like, frosty drinks. Yeah, what are you drinking?
I'm trying to get us sponsored by Body Armor.
I mean, I'll take Topo Chico or Bembel Apfelwein. I mean, Body Armor works too. Matt Halverson, I know you listen to me. Give me a call. Matt Halverson, my buddy. Hit me up.
Call him. Either way. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into our players to watch. Bingo. There we go. I've got two in this one, of course, one from each side. Pedro de la Vega, who, if you listen to any of the reports out of Seattle, it appears that Paul Rothrock is not doing well with a quadriceps injury. It's apparently being, quote unquote, a little more stubborn than Seattle would like. So we may not see Paul Rothrock. I think either way, Pedro de la Vega, the $11 million man, I believe, for Seattle, he's been the expensive talent that they brought in, but he has not done what they have needed him to do. I think they are going to give him every chance in the world on this, the biggest stage of the year for Seattle. He is their marked man, and I think we are going to see a little bit of Pedro de la Vega in this one. He scored against us in his debut in the 2-1 loss for Seattle when they played us earlier in the year. We beat them 2-1. The one was a Pedro de la Vega goal. And I think as much as guys like Denis and Matty obviously lead the charge on offense, when we have our quote-unquote speed lineup in there, and it's Kike Oliveira on the one wing, I think we are just a different club for sure. And I absolutely think that Kike Oliveira is going to be the X factor in a match like this, the way that he can take on two defenders comfortably now, as often as he does, the way that he is able to get possession on balls that we have no business getting to. He has done that over and over and over again this season. Kike Oliveira brings something special to the lineup in terms of his speed and in terms of the pressure that he continues to put on that right side on any defender that is in front of him, and the poise in which he now takes on defenders. That's the most important thing that I see. I think we're going to see big things from Kike Oliveira in this one. I've got Kike Oliveira and Pedro de la Vega. Philly.
I would say those are very good choices. Not going to lie. You weren't reaching for that one. And I'm glad. At least this time around, you're picking players that will most likely feature, not
There
going
you
down
go.
the line that Brian Schmetzer would have to look on the pine pony to come up with an idea. All right. I guess it's my turn to talk about players to watch. For me, it's simple. He scored a banger with Gabon on international duty. Somebody's feeling himself. But ultimately, defenders, we do need Denny Bwanga to step up offensively because he truly is the engine that our team operates on. He is that Gabonese gangster, Denny the Destroyer. Need to have him be aggressive. Whether he scores or whether he assists, he needs to have a good game. And he's had a couple of run of bad games in which he missed a fire, didn't pass when he should have found the open man. But I do think Denny is going to be the one player on LAFC that's going to contribute the most offensively. And as far as Seattle's concerned, we're going to look at a player that most people in Southern California would think owns an automobile conglomerate. Yes, that's right, Rusnak. You can't Google Rusnak without seeing the Volvo, the BMW, the Mercedes. The Rusnak Auto Group is massive. But if you go to Wikipedia and you look up Albert Rusnak, it's the third one, by the way, the one that's born in the 90s, not the 30s or the 70s. Rusnak is having a fantastic season. If you look over the MLS regular season, 10 goals. He had 16 assists. You want to talk about a guy who continues to get better? It's Albert Rusnak, just hitting the third floor 3 days after the 4th of July. Kid's having a phenomenal season. Over his entire tenure at RSL, 140 caps that he had, 41 goals. Playing for the Seattle Sounders, he's got 16 goals in the past couple of years that he's been here. His first year was a mulligan. He didn't play that well. This time around, though, he is freaking fantastic. And Albert Rusnak is the player that we are having to keep our Augen, that's eyes in German, on.
I love it. Look, Rusnak is a player that will always strike a little bit of fear into our hearts as long as he's playing against LAFC. And of course, no reason not to pick number 99. Philly, see if you can spot the theme in my two keys to the match today. I went a little Street Fighter on everybody for this one.
Well, how are you telling me to spot it if you're going to give the answer right away? Jesus.
Sorry.
Vega for the character from Spain that had the Wolverine claws, and then Guile using the sonic boom. Man asks me to see if I could spot the trend and gives the answer. What kind of a teacher are you? Pop quiz, by the way, here are the answers. So that's basically what you just did.
Listen, I'm off for a week right now. I'm the most excited I've been in quite a long time. Don't get me wrong. They need to declaw Vega. I really do think Pedro de la Vega is going to touch the ball an awful lot in this match. I think
at least once or twice, yes.
Yeah, we'll see a little bit of the Roldan brothers. We'll obviously see Jordan Morris and Albert Rusnak. There's plenty of talent with Joao Paulo and everybody else on this roster, but I don't know why, but I'm just worried about Pedro de la Vega in this one. So we got to make sure we declaw Vega. And when I say use the sonic boom, for everybody out there that's wondering, what the heck does that mean? What is Scarf reaching for? We need to use our speed lineup in this one. I don't want to see a lineup where we are waiting and plotting and trying to get the ball to Olivier Giroud in the box. I want to see our speed lineup out there. I want to see Kike Oliveira. I want to see David Martinez. I want to see Matty Bogusz. I want to see Omar Campos. I want to see Sergi Palencia. I want to see everybody full speed ahead on this one. Denis Bwanga in the middle. Break out the big guns. Look, when we take our 2-0 lead, that's when we can put in Ilie Sanchez and Edward Atuesta and Olivier Giroud and everybody else that'll slow things down a little bit for us. I want to see the speed lineup. We are better when we play fast. We are better when we have teams on their back heel. And I think that's the lineup that we score early, and we can score, if we do score often, against a team that doesn't give up a ton of goals. We are going to do it with our speed lineup out there for sure.
I wanted to share with y'all something fun. Let me take you through a quick little tour of Philip Monster Studios. Look at that.
He's got
Look at that.
You turbo up. I love it.
It's Street Fighter, baby. I got it. You got your Vega right here. Can you see it?
Go. I see it.
You got your Guile right here. You got your SNES controller right there. You know, it's so true. When you hit 40, you just don't grow up. I haven't. And maybe my wife's reminded me once or twice about that too. But I'm going to be playing Street Fighter after this pod. So thank you so much for bringing that up, Scarf.
Absolutely. Let's get to Philly's keys to the game.
Let me just turn this off first. Otherwise,
Sure.
we're going to be
Really?
watching a battle between Guile and Dalsim.
You got to do that right now. We're in the middle of a podcast.
No, I'm trying to turn off the TV. All right. Yeah, as far as LAFC's keys to the game, limit your mistakes, man. Like, LAFC is the kind of team that wants to, well, they want to absorb a lot of the pressure. But we saw when they went to a 4-3-3 against Vancouver, they simply annihilated Vancouver in a lot of ways. But they do have to limit their mistakes because Seattle's the type of team that could easily punish you on the counter if you screw things up. But more importantly than that, in my opinion, it's a matter of keeping your cool. Seattle has been known to be aggressive and to get under our skin historically. And you did mention in Scarf, a lot of these players do come back from that 2018-2019 season, players that did successfully get under the skin of many of our players. And players like Jesus David Maria are going to need to keep his cool. He's going to need to stay out of foul trouble, making it sound like he's a basketball player, but we can't have him get any yellows or any reds in particular. And we know that since they're going to come at us as aggressive as they can, we need to make sure that we keep cooler heads and limit our mistakes.
Couldn't agree more. I think especially when LAFC tends to get frustrated early, right? That's when we can see a player like Denis Bouanga play a little bit outside of himself. We certainly don't need that in this match, but I think we'll be okay. That would be good. I'm picking a relatively pedestrian scoreline here. I think the way that our defense has been playing, the way that Hugo Lloris shows up in big games, if you don't know, just Google the World Cup, that thing that he won once there, where he played extremely well. I think that having him in goal, having our back line play as well as they have, and I think it might have been Chris Lafferty that said it in our chat actually earlier in the episode, where he said having so many guys go is actually, it could be a good thing, right? In that it keeps everybody sharp. It keeps everybody active. It keeps everybody focused. And I think that could be huge. And also, by the way, when you remove players like Denis Bouanga and Matty Bogusz from training, it allows other people to kind of find themselves in those offensive roles and maybe get a little bit more comfortable so that when it comes time to ask something of them on the pitch in these 90 minutes, we could see something from them as well, and maybe we don't have to rely on some of these guys as much as we do. We've seen David Martinez make incredible strides this season. Kiki Oliveira has been a revelation, and it's just awful that he didn't get the Young Player of the Year award. Just so many things that we've seen from these younger guys really taking big steps. LAFC proving that they can mold young talent. I think 2-0 to me, it's going to never feel like we're up 2 goals, even when we do get up 2 goals. It's going to be a nervy game, but the fact that we have that bend but don't break defense, I'm going with 2-0.
Pedestrian is what you called that? Okay. I don't envision this being a very high-scoring game, so I will agree with you as far as how many goals LAFC is going to score. But I do think that Seattle is going to find one as well. I do think it'll be a 1-1 game until LAFC scores a goal. I'm going to call it the 65th minute. That's what I think. That's going to be when the second goal comes around. And to your point about maybe it's better that some of these guys did go on international break, keep in mind that same can be said about Seattle. Obed Vargas went. Nuhu went. Stuart Hawkins, we probably won't see win. Reed Baker-Whiting, he went as well. So 3 out of the 4 players on Seattle that really do get a significant amount of playing time also competed. And bearing that in mind, if that's the case, well, that Minnesota United sent 7 players to international duty. I think that's going to be an upset. I was on 93.7 Fan Radio. I was a guest on my buddy Craig Elston show, Craig and Annie, and they asked me what my thoughts were for the playoffs. I did predict Minnesota United was going to get the upset on the Galaxy. Despite what everybody thinks that it's going to be a Clasico, it hasn't been Don Garber's postseason, and we know he wants El Tráfico to be the next round. In fact, I know a lot of us do too, but with both the defending champs and the MLS champs, and by the way, last season's Supporter Shield champs and that FC Cincinnati, I don't think it's going to go Donnie Bucks Garber's way. I think it's going to be us in Minnesota in the conference finals, courtesy of a 2-1 win against Seattle tomorrow.
Listen, no Pookie, no party. I would absolutely love for them to find the upset there in Minnesota. That would be pretty great. Look, we've got all kinds of fun stuff before we even start to talk about and El Tráfico, right? They've got to get past Minnesota tomorrow, Sunday at 3:00. we've got to get past a very good Seattle team. Tomorrow it was 7:30, I think, is the kick, right?
7:30 is kickoff, yes. And then I think it's 6 o'clock on Sunday for the Galaxy and the Loons.
Yeah, I thought it was 3 o'clock, but I could be wrong.
6 p.m. No, it's 6 p.m.
Okay.
Unless it's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. You keep talking. I'll figure that one out.
Don't worry. Yeah, look, also the weather could be a factor. There's a USC event early. So if anybody is planning on going to tailgate early tomorrow, from what we have heard.
3 p.m., you're right. It was 6 p.m. Eastern. You're right.
Yeah, from what we've heard, do not show up before 10 o'clock tomorrow. There's just all kinds of stuff happening in Los Angeles. Obviously, we've got the Lakers, who have been on a little bit of an up and down kick. The Rams play on Sunday as well. But look, Philly, I'm going to say it right now. I want it. I want it. Bring on another derby. Bring on Carson. Let him come to BMO Stadium. Let's kick him out of the playoffs for a third time. I'm all about it. If we're going to go through and win MLS Cup, I mean, look, it's already not going to be as sweet because we won't get to beat Columbus, or we won't get to beat Messi and all of his boys. I'm fine with beating any of your former team, NYCFC, your former rival of your former team, New York Red Bulls. Like, I would love to play whomever. Let's do it. They got a Hudson River Derby. Who's the other?
Yeah,
game?
look, don't get me wrong. Yes, I would like to see Galaxy versus LAFC in the next round. I just think that Minnesota United is poised for an upset, Scarf. I mean, look, they've only lost once in their last 10 games, including regular season and playoffs. They've been good. And this season, they played the Galaxy very well, drew them early in the season, and it took a late-minute goal for them to lose against the Galaxy at Dignity Health Sports Park a couple of months ago. Yes, the smart money, the excited money, and obviously the excitement of another derby would be the thing. I just am calling it right here. Feel free to keep your receipts. I think the Loons get the upset. That's just my take.
And look, great matches over in the East, right? Really, the only kind of stinker of a match that people are thinking is that Galaxy-Minnesota match. But
I wouldn't call it a stinker. I think it's going to be a highly entertaining game. I think Atlanta and Orlando is going to be a little dull because I think the Cinderella run for Atlanta is going to end. But to your point, I would selfishly want to see NYCFC take on LAFC in the MLS Cup final. That's what I want. That's what I'm hoping for.
I mean, that would be a dream for Philly. His former team that he moved out.
I can't call it a former team. Like, I went to the last several games of the inaugural season before I moved here. So, I mean, I think I don't know. I definitely have more of a commitment to UC Riverside from last season as opposed to what I had with NYCFC back.
You had your inaugural season ticket member card in your wallet for a long time.
But until COVID, sure, because I thought it was a cool thing to have. Because I also wanted to show you that it was neat to have a season ticket member card. In fact, certain clubs, if you sign up as members for them, you get cards. I mean, I'm a member of the Bayern Munich club. I have a nice little card. So, I mean, I like cards. What do you want? You like cards too? Shoot.
I do like cards. I've got all kinds of cards sitting right here. So, yeah, look, I've got 2-0. Philly's got 2-1. You guys, this could be a lot of fun. More importantly, I can't wait to get back to BMO tomorrow. Can't wait to get back to see all of you, the 22,000 of the most beautiful faces that you'll ever see, the chorus of the black and gold, and, of course, to hang out with some of the millions.
And millions.
Can't wait. Okay. Let's do it. All right. Y'all know, hit us up tomorrow. We'll see you guys at the stadium.
Bye. Oh, damn, I never had this thing queued up in time. And a quick public service announcement before we go. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram. You get Scarf back on all your social medias. Tell everybody about us. And also, don't forget to check out defendersofthebank.com, the shop. Defenders 20 gets you a discount. I had to throw that in there. Sorry, Scarf. And now we can go. Bye.